Until the hostages were actually out of Gaza, and it looks as though that won't happen. Yeah, expected to land soon. And we've now got pictures filmed by our own crews in Gaza, our teams who have done the most incredibly heroic work for the last 2 years, operating there without us able to get in to help them, barred still from going into Gaza to this day. So our teams there have heroically carried out the work of brave journalism in Gaza, and today they've got the first pictures of the ICRC, the Red Cross vehicles, land cruisers, snaking their way through the apocalyptic rubblescape of Gaza. And inside those vehicles, we understand, are the first batch of Israeli hostages. So these are the first pictures of the vehicles carrying that batch out of Gaza. The hostages, the Israeli hostages, are being handed over to the Red Cross in a number of positions and locations around Gaza. And these are, we think, the first 7 Israelis to be handed over today. There will be 20 Israeli hostages, 20 live Israeli hostages handed over, and 28 bodies of those who've died in captivity. And as I say, these are the first 7 to be handed over. In those vehicles are 7, and amongst them Omri Miran, who Alex was talking about earlier. Just, you know, we have to put a human story to every name today and every person we see, don't we? And Omri was abducted on October the 7th. His abduction in front of his family was live streamed for hours by Hamas as they took him. His neighbour was at gunpoint forced to knock on the door to get the Miran family to open up. The entire family, so Omri's wife Lishai, their young daughters Ronnie and Alma, were dragged out of the safe room of their house, taken to another location, and then for, as I say, 3 hours, tormented, tortured really, on live stream. And the Hamas plan was always to live stream what they were doing on October the 7th, to try and encourage their brothers and sisters on the West Bank and across the Arab world to rise up in their support. So it was a very calculated plan to live stream their abduction. Hamas decided not to take the mother and daughters, but took Omri, and as he was dragged away, his daughter his daughter Ronnie, who was 2 at the time, screamed and begged her father's abductors not to take him away, but he was taken nevertheless, and he's been held hostage in Gaza ever since for 2 years. So he's had 2 birthdays in captivity. He is now, we think, in one of these land cruisers that Sky's team has filmed, leaving the point where he's been handed over by Hamas to the Red Cross. So he's now on his way to Re'im, which is a military base outside of Gaza, and he and the other 6 will be taken then to hospitals to the north of there in Tel Aviv. I went to one of them in Petah Tikva, the Rabin Medical Center, and they're expecting a number of these hostages today, and they're used and practiced in receiving hostages. They've done that a number of times during this war, and they say they have basically reinvented the whole medicine of dealing and treating with hostages, and they are expecting now to receive some of these hostages. So, you know, it's going to be an extraordinary day. We can only just imagine what these hostages are going through as they emerge from, obviously overnight, they've emerged from the tunnels where they've been held for 2 years. They've been handed over to the Red Cross, put in these vehicles. They're now driving through these pictures, which must be as shocking to them, if not more, than they are to us, of what has happened to Gaza while they've been in captivity. A place completely devastated, reduced to rubble by this Israeli offensive and the fighting with Hamas. They'll emerge from that. On the route from Gaza to Re'im, our other pictures have shown, is lined with Israelis. So they're going to, you know, these are people who haven't seen other people except for their captors for 2 years. It will be overwhelming and bewildering for them, surely, as they emerge from Gaza, to a rapturous welcome on the streets, on the roads of southern Israel, lining their route on the way out of Gaza to Re'im, and then they'll be flown by helicopter into Tel Aviv, and there they will get the kind of treatment they will desperately need, obviously, by doctors who are now very well practiced